Okay, so today we have a very basic project that we are going to walk over, and I promise this is going to be a little bit shorter than previous video. So this is a project we worked on over the weekend, and I promised to make the video available for you guys. So it's a simple landing page, sign up page, so where you just have a welcome text, some fields that you are supposed to fill. Let's say first name, last name, your email address, password, submit button, and then some other third-party login buttons like Google login or Behance. We did a couple of them. I think Google, Apple, Facebook, and Behance. So basically created this as components, and then when let's say which of them you need to use at a particular point in time, you just have to switch it without having to design it from scratch. Yeah, so we've already learned how components and variants work, so this is not going to be anything new at all. And then we have here this is also a component actually. I think all uh, the text, the fields here, I reuse them as components from this parent component. So you just basically you create one field area, and then you use it over and over again, so that when you want to make changes to the child components here, you just go to the parent component, make the changes, and have it reflected. So we are going to build the whole of this once again from scratch. So I'm going to create a new file, and then let's get started. So click on the plus icon here to create a new file. Click on new file, and then good. So like I said, I'm going to be relatively fast on this one. So let's grab the frame tool here, and then click on desktop. That's the standard size we used. So I'm going to set the corners to 50 as usual, and then I'm going to for the very first time we are going to use columns or grids, columns in order to map out our design. So you make sure you click on layout grid from the bottom right here, and then click on the drop down here and choose columns instead of grids. And then I want us to use 12 columns. So click on this, and then change the value here from 5 to 12. And then also, okay, I think the stretch and the gutter, leave them as they are. Gutter is the wide width of the white space, like between the pink spaces you are seeing here. That's the gutter. So if you increase it, it gets to increase. If you decrease it, to the same thing. And stretch here, it's just to allow for an expansion of the column to take the entire width of the frame. You could choose to put all the columns at the left side, which doesn't make sense, same as the right side. Yeah, I think some people do this, but then this is not going to be helpful in our case, since we just want to achieve the overall layout. So this is pretty okay for me. And we are going to, the reason why we are doing this is to ensure that we don't put things at the extreme ends of the screen so that it's really difficult to read. So we are just going to leave one column each on the left and then the right side. Especially this is just a landing page. You don't have to put things at the extreme. You have so little information to put on it. So you have to make sure that the information is just at the center of the design so that viewers can easily see it. Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to leave some margins. Already, I'm clear that the uh, columns at the left side here will be used as margins. So I can just put a ruler here to ensure that I don't place anything beyond this ruler. And then I can equally do same here. But for the top and bottom, we have to also leave equal space at the top and bottom to ensure that we don't place things at the extreme top again. So to do that, I'm going to grab a rectangle to just draw out any random rectangle of height. Let's make the height 50. That's the space I want to leave from the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to align this rectangle to the top using these alignment options from positions on the left side, sorry, on the right side of the panel. And then I'll just drop a guide from the top to the bottom part of this rectangle. So that means that I have 50 pixels of space up here. Then I'll now align the rectangle to the bottom here, and then I'll do the same thing by dropping a guide from up here to the bottom here, and then now I can delete this rectangle. Yeah, so it was just basically to help us get equal space, that is 50 pixels of space at the top and then the bottom. So now we have our guides, and then also okay, so we can start with the design. First of all, I want us to create the rectangle that we have here for the picture. I'm going to switch between the screens so that we can easily see what we are doing. So this rectangle, which is acting as a frame for the picture on the landing page, is currently of height 924, and then the width is 620. So we are going to draw out that same rectangle here. So grab the rectangle tool, and then from the exact corner here where the two grids meet, the two yeah, the two grid smiths, you can just draw out a random rectangle, and since we know the dimensions, you just pass in 620 on the left, sorry, on the width, and then 924, that's the current value there on the height. And then also this, we are going to round the value, the corners, to also 50 pixels. Now let me see, the columns are getting a little bit destructive. We can actually lower the opacity of it, but I want us to just get rid of it so we have a very plain background. We just needed it for the guides, at least for now. So I want us to go to the bottom here, select the frame, go to the bottom here, and then turn off the eye for the grid. Please don't click on the minus icon here. When you click on the minus button here, it, the grids get deleted. So if you need it again, you have to do the setup from scratch again. So just, there's an eye next to the this thing, the minus icon. Just click on the eye to toggle the grid on and off whenever you need it. So this is the rectangle we need, and we are just going to center this. So click on it and center align it. I think right now it's just at the exact center. So first of all, we need an image inside this rectangle, an image on our landing page. Yeah, so I'm going to just click on this rectangle to activate it, and then right click on it, or you can, no, just go to actions here and click on actions. We are going to be using a particular plugin called Photos by Freepik. It's a Freepik plugin. Freepik is an image hosting platform, so they have lots of stock images that we can use for free. So if you don't have it here right now, you can go to plugins, and then just search for Photos by Freepik, or just search for Freepik. You should see uh, this plugin right here. Then you click on it. First of all, if you are using it for the very first time, it's going to ask you to run it. Yeah, so since I've already used it, I think when I click on it, it should just take me to the interface. And this uses a lot of internet connection because you are pulling the images from the web. Yeah, so if your internet is weak, sometimes you might have some delays with regards to the response. Yeah, so let's proceed. So I'm going to search for I think the image I used there, the prompt I used was African African design students illustration. Yeah, I just wanted something. You can use any prompt based on the image you want. African design, sorry, African design. What did I write? Students, it should be students. Okay, so you see we have starting to get similar images. I'm not very sure if I can still get the exact image because sometimes it just randomizes the search results. I can see these images are familiar, but the exact image I used, I'm not very sure I'll be able to get the same thing. Damn it. Okay, just so we don't waste so much time on this, I'm going to choose any random image, yeah, from this list, and I'm going by uh, this one right here. You can choose any image. You can choose to use any image. So once you click on it, the process is going to run and automatically fits the picture into the frame. So we have it now. Now the next thing I want us to do is, instead of just jumping into the pulling out the designs, sorry, the various rectangle folds to, I want us to first of all design the components so that when we start aligning them, we just be placing them instead of designing each field from scratch. So for this, I'm going to grab the frame tool and draw another frame here. Mostly, I like to put my components, variants outside the actual design work so that they don't get distracted. So I'll just have a random frame here so I can put those stuffs on it. Yeah. So first, I'm going to create the search for the name field. So we grab the type tool. We do that from the type tool, and then type out um enter your given name. Yeah, so this is going to be like a placeholder for our first name field. So enter your given name. The font size of this is supposed to be 24, and the font style I used was Poppins. So you can search for Poppins and then you should have it. Yeah, so Poppins font size 24. And first of all, you have to put this inside an auto layout so that we can be able to add some patterns around it, some bit of space around the text, and also we'll be able to add the borders to make it look like a text field. So to add an auto layout, right click on the text, make sure the text is selected, you right click on it and you click on add auto layout. So once you click on it, this is now acting as an auto layout. Then we have to pass in the pattern. The pattern is the space at the left and then what right, bottom and top. Basically the space surrounding an object is the pattern. So let's make it 24 here. That's for the left and right. For the top and bottom, we'll leave it as it is. And also currently the text field is not quite evident because the background is transparent, no border. So we are just seeing text. So to change this, I want us to give it a little stroke. So click on stroke here, and you can give it any color. In this project, I think we used a particular gradient. So as you can see, it's a nice gradient that we use from this project. So to get that gradient, I sampled it from an image on my desktop. So I'll go to designs and just grab the image from here. Yeah, it's a logo of item media committee. So let me just drop it inside the design here. Yeah, so I'm going to reduce the size of this image. Later on, we just put it as a watermark, or sorry, kind of like a tag at the bottom to show that this work is for the committee or is done by the committee members. But for now I just want to sample the color from this. So to do that, if you want to sample color from an image, use the color picker tool to do that. So make sure that this stroke is selected, then you go to click on the color panel here, the color picker here, and then instead of solid color you would want to toggle on the gradient color here. And now as you can see, you have two color points right here. You can basically change their positions, but that's not what I'm interested in right now. I just want to change the colors. So you see that the gradient is fading from blue to pink or whatever this color is. So this first point is representing the first color here, and then the last point you can use this color. So I'm just going to click on this color picker here. There's an eyedropper tool here. You click on it and then use it to sample the color from this text. So the eye, you just sample that blue from the eye, and then that's it. Then you do the same thing for the second color. Pick the eyedropper tool and sample this color from the letter A, then you close this. So your gradient is ready. But then maybe we may want to use this gradient over and over again. So in order to save this gradient, you can click on uh, go to library Okay, sorry, you can click on this. Let me see, I think. Yeah, you can click on this a plus icon up there and then give it a name. Maybe let me just give it gradient, or you can give it the name of the project or something. Just give it any name and a description you like. Then you can click on what create star. So when you click on this, the gradient would be saved. This is the name, and whenever you want to use the same gradient, you just go for it. So this looks okay for me. And as you can see, for a text field, you want to have enough space to enter your characters. And currently, you see, we have the space that is just enough to contain whatever we've typed inside. We need some extra space here. Someone's name might even be longer than this text box, and we want them to see everything as they type. So to do that, you see that currently the width is set to hack content, which means that we are going to have just enough space to hold the content of the auto layout. But should in case we have shorter content and want larger space, then we need to set this the space by ourselves. And okay, we have to choose how wide the space should be. And in that case, we are setting it to a particular fixed value. It's not going to be adaptive anymore. So you click on fixed here, and then the size was I think 500. The width was 500 here. So we need 500 feet. But then also we don't want the text to be in the middle here. Yeah, just click on, go to this alignment panel here. You can play with the values here, but all I want is the left align here. And then we want to also round the corners a bit so that the button looks, the text field looks smoother. So just pass a value of 15 to that. And also this is not, let me just reposition this logo. And also this text field is not, the text inside is not actually the label. This is just to act as a what do I call it, a placeholder. Yeah, a placeholder text. So usually placeholder text, you don't make them so prominent. So for that, I'm going to use this color, this dark gray color we have outside here on just on the charcoal gray on the interface here. That is what I've sampled here. So I'm going to use that color. The color code is one E, triple one E. So one E, one E, one E. Then let's also play with the opacity of that value. Let's make it 50. Yeah, so something like this is cool. Something faint like this is cool. And then finally, let's add our label for this input field to make everything baked, fully baked. So let's put here first name. The label, the first label or the parent label really doesn't matter. You can put anything. You can put first name, last name, email, whatever. Whenever you are to reuse a component, you can just change it to any label name you want. So let's put this in an auto layout and make sure we align it just at the left, something like this. And the space, now okay, first you have to put these two into an auto layout. So select the name. It should also remember it should also be 24 pixels. The label should also be 24 pixels. Let me go into the text so that you see. And then the fonts should also be pop ones. But this one, the fonts color, you are not supposed to reduce the opacity. Just leave it as it is in its full glory. Then you select this text and select the text area as well. Put everything in an auto layout by pressing on Shift A, or use right click and then click on what add auto layout. So now we have these two in an auto layout. Yeah, I think the space between them is okay. No, let me just reduce that a bit. I think the space is too much. That is the space between the text field and then the first name text. Ideally, that's the normal space. Okay, well, let me just maintain it. Yeah, so this is now in an auto layout. So the last thing we want to do here is convert this to a component so that in future, if we want to reuse it and we go to assets, we can find it here and then we just use it. So observe as I convert this to a component. So we right click on the selection and click on create component, or you can use Control plus Alt plus K to create a component. So once you do, it gets updated here, and then you can now see that we have it as a component here, meaning we can use it anywhere within our project. Now it's being labeled as frame. I want us to change it to what, text fold. So just rename it as text fold here, so it becomes the parent component, and we are going to put this aside. The next thing I want us to create is the third party login buttons here. We have a sign in with Google, Apple, and whatever. So that is what uh, we are going to work. And also, just to make things clear, you see, this is currently acting as a variant, but here we just have a component. We can actually create the variant from this one too, as in a variant for this is the first name, right? So we can create this is the parent component. So we can create a variant for the first name, a variant for the second name, sorry, last name, then a variant for the email address, a variant for the password. So we can do that. Now let's go back here. I think we have to do that here. But before we do, let's work on the buttons first. This is just going to be an extra work. I didn't do that in the physical class, but I think it's something we can experiment here. But before we do that, let's create the button. So to create the Google sign in button or sign in with Google button, you click on, just grab a type tool and then type out the text Google. So the text was Google, and then the font size is also 24. The font style is at Poppins. So this is what you'd want to have. Now the next thing is we have to grab the we have to create this, put this in an auto layout. So you can have shift A to put it in an auto layout, and just leave it as it is. Now let's go and grab the icon that we need to use. So for this, I'm using an icon from the Picon icon set. This, we've shared it already. So let's search for Google, and I'm going to use the colored. So go to all, and then we have color, Google color icon here. So you can just pick it up, drag it into the workspace, and then make sure you set the dimension. Currently is 480. That's too big for an icon. Let's make it 40 by 40. So we have 40 by 40, something like this is cool. So you put the two beside each other like this, and then put everything in an auto layout. So you right click on this and choose add auto layout, or just press shift A to put it in an auto layout. And this together, to make it look like a button, we need to add that stroke you are seeing here, the rounded stroke you are seeing there. So click on this, make sure the auto layout is selected, then you go to stroke, and we want to use the same gradient that we used for the stroke for the text fold. So you click on the color here, go to library, and here we have that gradient here, the gradient we saved. And this was exactly why I saved it, because I knew we were going to use it later on. So make sure you click on this gradient here, and I think this is okay, but we need to round this also. And this one, we need a fully rounded button. So you can just pass in an extremely high value to convert it to fully rounded. Now also we need some space at the left and right, some kind of pattern to make sure that we have some breathing space around the text. For this, I'm going to use the same space, 24. Yeah, 24 on the left, 24 on the right. So now this is looking like a button we can actually use. So this becomes our parent component for the third-party sign-in buttons. The Google button here becomes the parent. Now to create a variation of this, you make sure that the parent component is created. Currently, we've not created a component. It's just an auto layout. So to create a component, you can click on Control Alt plus K, or just right click on it and click on create component. So now it's existing as a component, and that is why this side, that is the assets panel, has been updated to capture that component. Now to convert this to different variations, you can click on the add variant button here on the left side. But before we do, let's change the frame 5 here to Google. Just write Google there, because this becomes a component for Google. Then let's add a variation of it. We need 4 variations, or you can even have more. but let's for the purpose of this, let's use four variations. So create four variations. So let's change this one to sign in with maybe Apple, and then sign in with Facebook, then finally sign in with the other one. I said we use the Behance. You can use Dribble, you can use whatever. So let's use the Behance, sign in with Behance. So now you notice that the button sizes are changing. You see, this is longer than this is shorter than this in that order. That is not how you want your buttons to be. Yeah, for maybe for some reasons you can have the buttons to be longer than each other. But for this project, I want us to maintain some consistency. So I want all the buttons to have the same this thing, the same width, the same width. So to do that, you can set the parent component button here. Make sure, let's see, the variant is selected. This is selected. Okay, let me select the main component. So with the main component, see that the width is currently set to arc, which means that we have just enough space to contain the content of it. The more text you add, the more the button expands to accommodate it. But we want a fixed width so that all the buttons would have the same width. So to do that, you click on fixed width here, and let's pass the width to be 220. Yeah, so something like this. Also, we can adjust this variant for so that you can see everything. So now we have this to be 220. Now let's recenter the content of it. Yeah, and we are going to do the same thing for the rest of the buttons. So you can select all the buttons. You can select all the buttons here, and then click on multi edit variants. So once it's activated, you can come here and set the width to a fixed width, and then also you can change the value to 220 from mixed to 220. So all the buttons would have the same width now, and then also you can set their alignment. All of them should be center aligned, something like this. Then also we need to change the various don't bother about the arrangement of the logos. When we bring it into the main project here, that's here, they are going to be in line this way. So the alignment of the actual icons really, they don't matter. They don't matter. So let's just change the Google icon here to Apple icon. So for that, I'm going to maintain the Google icon here, then come to the icon library, search for Apple, and I'm going to grab this right here. I think maybe not the exact icon I want, but for the sake of time, yeah. And for this, I'm going to change the dimension to 40. So 40 by 40, drag this in here. It's currently white, that's why you're not able to see it. So to change this color, double click on it to get the outline of the logo, click on fill, and then change it to this um, charcoal gray color. Then you drag it into the entire frame here. So it's going to readjust. Just pick the Google icon here, then you delete it. So it automatically updates. We do the same thing for Facebook. So Facebook, I'm just going to speed up this Facebook. So Facebook, I'm going to use this icon, the first icon here, drag it out, double click on it. I think it's too big right now. So I'm going to change the size, make sure this is toggled on, change it to 40 by 40, drag it into the workspace, and then double click on it to change the double click on this and then change the fill to this brilliant blue. Then you drag it into the button here and just take this Google out, so it also automatically fits. Then let's do the same thing for Behance. You click on this Behance, grab Behance, then this is their logo. You drag it here, and then Let's also resize that to 40 by 40. Then double click on it again to change the color. Click on fill. Behind uses black color, so black and white. Drag it into the button here and then delete this Google icon. So yeah, now as you can see, we have our four brilliant buttons. They are all looking nice. I want us to select this Apple component, change it from variant 2 to Apple. Then the same thing with Facebook, change the component name from variant 3 to Facebook. Then let's change the component name for Behance to from variant 4 to Behance. Then now let's do what I was trying to demonstrate here. So all this is now existing as components. If you come here under assets and then you want to use any of the components, you can just toggle between. You can, here we have defaults. You can change it to the Apple distant variant, or you change it to Facebook, whatever component you want to use. So now this is what we have. Now the next thing we are supposed to do is go to this. This is currently the parent component. So we need to create a variation of this. So click on the plus icon just like we did for the other stuff. So I'm going to drag this a little up here. Then click on the add variant here. And we are going to call this one um, second name, or yeah, second name, sorry, last name rather, last name, and change the pretext from enter first name to enter your surname. Yeah, just so our users don't get confused between what's first name or what's last name. You can click on add here again, click on add again. I'm going to take off the item media logo now, this logo. I'm going to place it outside here. We don't need it for now. Then let's change from first name, sorry, the third one here to email address, email address, email address, and then the last one here too, let's change it to password. And then the text here too, don't forget to change it. Enter your email address. And likewise, the text inside the password button here, let's change it to enter a, let's say enter strong password. Yeah, so that's it. Now we have all these acting as different components, but they are all in the same variant. I'm going to increase this frame a little to just make space for all the stuff that I will need. Yeah, so now we are almost done because we have our components here. We just need to use them in the main design. These are our components here. So let's get to the main work. Here we have a simple header that says what? Welcome, create your account to get started. So we are going to just do that right now. Grab your type tool and then let's type out welcome. The font style is Poppins. The font size is 84. And then the font weight is bold. Oh, no, it was black. I think it's black. So you have it this way. Let's place it right here. And I want us to duplicate this. Just press on Alt key and left mouse button to duplicate it. Then let's type the other text. Create your account to get started. Yeah, so this is supposed to be of size 24, and then the font weight is supposed to be regular. Yeah, something like this is cool. Then we select First of all, let's add the color to this. This was supposed to be a gradient color, the same gradient we use for the outline. So since we already have it saved, you click on fill, click on libraries, and just apply gradients. Now select these two types and put them in an auto layout. Decrease the space between them to -10, and then adjust it. Just put it a little down here. This is cool. Now let's get back to here and see what's next. We need all these components that we've already created, then we just import them. So let's go back here. The first component is first name. So if you are on file here, you may not see the components, so go to assets, just the tab next to the file, and then among here we have these components. So this is the first component we are interested in, the names components. But if you check here, we have different variations. We have variant 2, we have variant 3, we have variant 4, and this is why I wanted us to rename them. We renamed the buttons here so that whenever you come to the variant part, you know what you are picking. So let's do the same thing for the text fields. So instead of variant 2, let's change it to last name. Then instead of variant 3, let's change it to email. And instead of variant 4, let's change it to password, so that when you go there under the assets, you know what you are picking. So first of all, we need the first name, which is actually the default button. So we can just maintain that one. So click on add instance, and then you have it inserted here. So you see the beauty of components, right? We don't have to like recreate everything whenever we need it. So this is okay. Then you click on it again. Now we need the surname. So click on the surname name component and click on what? Insert. Drag it down here. Don't bother about the did I just get first name? Then I didn't pick the right component. Click on this, drop down this last name. I think I still have the last name. Why is this thing not activating? First name selected. I think there's an issue. None of this works. I think I faced the same issue here. None of this works. I think there's an issue. Okay, so this is what we can do. Ideally it's supposed to change here. I don't know why it's breaking now. Maybe some updates. So what we can do is just don't bother about it. You can just grab the first ideally this is supposed to change. Like when I click here and choose last name, it's supposed to change here. But since it's not changing, I don't know. I'll check it out. But you can just insert the first name here, drag it down here. Now instead of changing it over there, you can come to the right panel here, drop down default here and choose last name. You see that it gets updated. So the same thing, click on this, click on insert instance, bring the first name here, but here we don't want first name, we want email. So click on email here, change it, and then finally click on this, create add instance, drag it down here, and instead of first name again, just go to the right side here and click on the password field. So basically you have all the four fields here. Now one thing we need to adjust is the submit button. You see that here we have the password field, which is uh, in line with the submit button. I don't know why I did this, but it was just to play with the things. Most of the times the submit button would have its own line, something like that. But this is just a demo project, so we are squeezing the submit button in line with the password button. So to do this, we are creating the submit button from the password component. And to do that, we are going to duplicate the text field, or yeah, the text field for the password. And then so just duplicate it, control D. Yeah, But since they are in the same what do I call it, component, you are going to observe this behavior. So first we know it's sitting right here, so you can drag it inside a bit, but we need to adjust the width of this enter password button text field, because it doesn't have to be that long. We can just reduce it, set the width to yeah, fixed, and then let's reduce it a bit to, instead of 500 we can make it fixed, and then we set it to, yeah, I think it's taken from the parent components. Okay. Yeah, let's rather change this to hack content. Yeah, something like this, hack, and then we can now bring in the button here. Like I made mention earlier, that's not the right way to do it or the best way to do it, but I just wanted to play with that effect to see how it turns out. So now let's adjust this, and this button too, we are going to reduce the this thing, um the size, the width, I think, yeah, let's set it to fixed as well, hard content as well. And now let's change the text from enter password to submit. So submit, the button should be filled, like the it should be filled. So go to, first of all, let's center this text. I think it's, I don't know if it's well centered. It's in this auto layout, so use center here. I think that's cool. Now let's go to the fill area here, where we have this button. So click on fill, and then click on the color button here. Go to library, choose a gradient color. Now let's change the text color from the submit color here, from this gradient to pure white. And remember, we reduce the opacity, so you have to set the opacity back to 100. And also, finally, let's change the button, the text to bold, the font weight to bold. Yeah, so this is how I want it to be. Then let's just make sure that the button is aligning with this other components, like the ending part of this other components. Just a slide this. I just want good, exactly when you have that pink line showing. Now this button is out of this uh, password component. If you notice, like when you are moving, you see that it's out of it. So you want to select the two of them, this button, this button, select it together with the password component. Then you put the two of them in an auto layout. So shift A to put them in an auto layout. Yes, and this is how the arrangement would be, because here it's set to vertical. So it's going to put the items on top of each other. So you have to set it to horizontal. Horizontal would mean that the button should expand to fill the container and then stay on top of the uh, other text, but that's not what you want. So let's use wrap text instead, and then set the alignment to bottom left. Sorry, horizontal. Let's keep it on horizontal. Now the button here, okay, the thing has changed to fill. It should be hack content. The width changed to fill. That's why it was a kind of expanding to fill the container. Yeah, so basically this is what we should have. Yeah. So I think this is now okay for me. And if you check here, if you move this around, you see that they are now together. That's exactly what I wanted. So now let's select all this. We are going to select all the input areas or the text areas and put them in an auto layout. So shift A to put everything in an auto layout. So we now have them distant. The space between them should be set to, yeah, I think this current value is okay. Let's make it 10. Yeah, no, that's rather a pattern. This is the space between them, should be 10. Yeah, something like this is cool. Then finally, let's go and get our this footer, this bottom part of it. So, or log in with Google, Behance, or whatever, or sell your soul to the devil. So let's click on this, and then we're going to have a simple text here. Simple text that says what? Or sell your soul to the devil. Yeah, something like this. It's just some. Uh, I'm just playing with words. I don't mean it. So let's grab the rectangle tool here and draw out our line. Remember, the line's width should be the same as the button width. And remember, the button width was 500. So this is what we have. And the line should also be of the same gradient as we've been using. So click here and choose this gradient color. Then finally, let's bring in the buttons. So go to assets, click on the Google here. I think this was also supposed to be updating, but I think there's an issue with my Figma. I don't know, or maybe the internet speed or whatever. I don't know what's happening. But let's go with this. So you can insert the Google button here, insert the Google instance down here, then you insert the same thing, insert the same instance. But now instead of Google, you can go to the right hand side, click on the drop down here and change it from this menu. So you can put either Facebook, you can put Apple, or you can put what? Behance. So which of them you would want? Since we are designers, I want us to keep Google, which is the most popular one, and Behance should, in case our company wants us to use Behance because we are designers. So this is what we have. Now you select the two of them, put them in an auto layout. The space between them should be 24. Click on the auto layout. Yeah, the space should be 24. That's exactly what you are seeing there. Oh, no, sorry, it should be 24. This is cool. Now let's select this. You can use more than two, but here I just created the four so that you would learn how variants work. You don't necessarily have to use all of them. So I'm using only two in this project. So I'm going to select this together with the line, together with the text here. Then I'm going to align them to the center, and I'll put everything in a group. So Control G to put it in a group. Now these ones are inside a group. All this is inside one group. So you have to select that group together with the main. Why? What is this happening? I think there's some breakage here. This is currently out of bounds. Let's go to files, and this is okay. This is it. Then we have this. I want the password field. This is the password field here. So that's frame 8. Frame 8. And now this password field is sitting outside frame 8. Frame 8 is supposed to be the container, the auto layout for all of them when we decided to group all of them. But this password field is sitting outside it, and this button is also sitting outside here. This is frame 2. That's the button here. So we are supposed to put this button, and we're supposed to put this button. What am I doing? Good. We're supposed to put this button here inside this desktop. This is the frame 1, the one we did these drawings on. Yeah, and this frame is for, okay, the entire of this design. Good. So let's pick this frame, put it way up here. We don't want it where it is. Now everything for this design should be in this frame, but we have this the submit button here outside the frame. That's not what we want. Also, we have our frame 8 here. That's the okay, that's still the same button frame. So what we need to do is, this is the password frame. So we have to put this button inside that frame 7. Yeah, something like this. uh, and the alignment should be, oh damn it, I think there's some mess up here. Yeah, I'm going to just resolve this. Just give me some time. um, we have to break the auto layout. Right click and remove auto layout. Okay, so now we need to select this to, we need to move this, um, this, we need to remove the auto layout. Okay, there's no auto layout. What of this? There's an auto layout. We need to remove it. And then the last thing is what? Okay, so we need to drag frame 20 frames. Then we select frame 7, which is we select this and this frames. Delete it. Then select this. So it is sliding to this. Yeah, okay, good. And then this group. Okay, so everything is fixed now. Now this group 2 is falling outside the main, the parent frame, which is this frame here. Sorry, that's not it. This is the parent frame, the main frame here. So we have to put this group into that frame as well. Yeah, so that everything on this screen, let's call it home screen, let's call it, or login page. So everything should be in the login page. Now when you close the eye, everything vanishes. So this, we are not interested in this anymore. I don't even know which item is that. I think it should be somewhere here. Yeah, that's the item media logo. Then also this frame, we are not interested in it anymore. Those two guys, we are not interested in them. So we can just, the item media logo, well, you can just bring it inside this work, but I don't think it's necessary. So just keep it up there. So those were just assets that we use during the design process, but we are not going to ship them. We're not going to add them to the final design. So we can just turn them off, so we can keep our focus on this page. So the last thing we need to do is put this group that we just did, the group 1 here. Okay, I think we have this and we have this. So let's put these two into a group, Control G. So one group, then you select, okay, these two, we need to put them back into an auto layout. We can break this auto layout, remove auto layouts here, and I think they are still together. We can ungroup them and do it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then put it in an auto layout once again. So the space between them is okay. Now we need to take this entire auto layout together with this group, put them in an auto layout so everything gets centered. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Then you can just reposition this. Now select this, the whole of this together with the text here, and put everything in the center. Then you can put them in an auto layout. Yeah, and then put everything in the center, period. So that is the entire project. That is how it was built. We decided to change the background of the desktop to something, instead of plain white, can just use some bits of this pink, just turn it towards this side a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, just any color that is aside pure white, but you would still make the contents very visible. So this is what we're able to do. And then I'm hoping that those of you who are not in class will be able to do same. Okay, so if you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section. See you next weekend. Bye.